Hello, everyone. Welcome to Loud and Proud Orlando. We are live Thursday, February the 26th, 8:32 p.m. Thank you so much for your support. This Thursday, beautiful Thursday, getting a little warmer. Well, it was cold yesterday, very cold. But we're diving headfirst into the Florida Derby as the Orlando City Lions gear up for a massive home clash against Inter Miami or Messi FC this Sunday. I think John wrote on the agenda there, keep Florida purple. So that's the mantra. We'll break down the weather forecast, expected crowd vibes, possible injury updates, shaking up both squads, potential lineups that could swing the game, and Miami's start of the season, a little shaky start, just like Orlando. Plus, we'll dive into the tactics under Mascherano versus Óscar Pareja. The big Messi question, is he going to be playing? Who's reffing as well? We have somebody that has already reffed a Florida Derby. And the on-field battles that are going to be decisive is kill or be killed, Matar or Morir. So hold on to your seats. And also we have the latest on Antoine Griezmann's potential blockbuster move to Orlando City. So I'm here with John Rollins and David Gray. John, how are you, my friend? Good to see you again, and excited for this derby coming up on Sunday.
I mean, what a massive week for Orlando City. Like, so much happening. Not only have we got the Florida Derby, which, we got a lot of eyes for that as Messi comes to town or not to town, most likely. But of course, everybody's looking at us right now with Antoine Griezmann all over the news. I've seen it all over the MLS sphere. Even like I'm getting called Yankee by guys over in Spain. Atletico Madrid fans hate me because I misspelled their club name. It's been a fun week. So we're having a good time, and I can't wait for Sunday, man.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm here with David. David, how are you, my friend? Good to see you again.
Yeah, doing well. Looking forward to a bounce back week on the field, and then would love to get this Griezmann stuff over the line. Would love for it not to hang. But it is what it is. Busy weekend for me as well. I'm going to be in a wedding this weekend, so
Wow.
I get to put on my groomsmen tux one more time and see one of my good friends get married. So busy weekend for me, but I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, it should be a good one.
So let's dive into first Antoine Griezmann, because I think everybody wants to talk about the Grizz. So obviously, when this was brought up, clearly it was kind of we were like, is this really true? Is this really happening? But it is. So we hold his rights. Ricardo Moreira has been in Madrid multiple times, obviously, to talk to Antoine Griezmann and know that he's spoken to his agent as well since last season. Also, Orlando holds the MLS discovery rights for Antoine, and obviously Griezmann has heavily advocated the MLS for a while now, and he's a huge NBA and NFL fan. So the timeline is obviously Orlando wants him by March 26. Atletico Madrid or Los Colchoneros, they want him for Copa del Rey and the other tournaments that they're definitely playing. For what it stands right now, we posted a video, the translation for the Larguero for Manu, one of the top soccer journalists there in Spain. Pretty much it's saying that this is probably heading the right direction for Orlando. There's a lot of implications. We'll dive in just a second, but I think Griezmann will get a better deal coming in March. It's not guaranteed for him to have the deal that we're putting on the table by the summer. So it becomes that. Mind you, Atletico fans right now are killing him, drilling him, insisting that he better stay. Otherwise, he will never be an Atletico legend, because he's done this to them twice. And even though he holds all the numbers, and he's probably their best player in history, that to them it's BS. How can you sell out for dirty American money, and go to that league, the MLS, and no one knows about, right? How dare you, Antoine, right? So they're taking it to heart. But Antoine wasn't in this position last season. So when last season ended, he was already looking for options. That's why his agent picked up the phone to a lot of teams, including Orlando City, because he was told already, you're probably going to take a back seat. You and Koke are going to take a back seat. And both accepted that fact, and that's why he was looking for other options. Now, this reality is a little different. He's becoming very influential off the bench. He's actually scoring goals, scoring assists, and the fans want him. But he already was pretty much set to go. So it's a little bit of a intricate situation, but it's moving the dial, moving more towards Orlando right now. So a lot of things could change in the next 48 hours as well. David, what are some things that you know about this move, and what's your opinion on Griezmann coming into Orlando?
Yeah, so about an hour ago, we probably got our biggest update that we've gotten since sort of Tom, Paul Tenorio, CL Merlot, Fab, you name all of them, who came out and talked about it originally. This one came from L'Equipe, so one of the big French outlets that's over there. And basically what it said is that it is getting much, much closer. People inside the club for Madrid don't want him to go. They want to keep him to the end of the season, but they've kind of accepted the fact that they think he's going to go at this point, and that he is not going to stay for the remainder of the season. People told them that everything is almost closed and that there's a 95% chance that'll be done before the season ends. So obviously, sort of like Luis talked about, a lot of the fans for Atletico Madrid are upset, and I can understand that. I get it. But the money that we're offering, per sources and some other things that we've heard, he would get a good chunk more money if he came now versus if he came in the summer. Because there's kind of like three different scenarios that can play out for Griezmann. The first two have the fact that he accepts right now in this window before the window closes. The first scenario, and the best scenario for us, obviously, is he accepts, he signs the deal, and then he comes this window and we see him at some point in late March, early April. He comes in with us, we work him in, all that kind of stuff. The second option, which still requires him to sign now, is he signs now, but he waits till the summer to come over and join us post-World Cup, or like during the World Cup break, assuming that he doesn't get called up for France, which, if you guys didn't know, he technically retired a year ago, but he still has the potential that if France really needs him, they could call him and bring him in if need be. The third option is he says no to basically everything, doesn't sign anything, says he wants to wait until the summer, and then Orlando City most likely takes their ball and goes home, because based on everything that a few of us have heard, Orlando City most likely won't be back in for him in the summer if he signs nothing now. So really what this article from L'Equipe was saying is that basically it looks like it's not only going to get done now in terms of him signing something, but it also looks like he will be moving now, to a lot of consternation from Atletico Madrid fans. They're in Copa del Rey. They have a 4-0 lead on Barcelona going into the second leg, which is on Tuesday. Obviously, the expectation is that they can hold off Barcelona and move on. If they do move on, they either would play Atletico Bilbao or they would play, I forgot who the other team was. But both teams very beatable for a final for Copa del Rey. So that competition, I would say, if they can get past Barcelona, is pretty done and dusted for them. They are still in Champions League, I believe, so that's really the competition they'd like to have him for, to have the depth. But if you've looked at his minutes throughout the season, he really hasn't started for them. Yeah, he's been one of their bright spots off the bench, but this is a guy that wants to play, right? That's one of the reasons why he's considering MLS and why he wants to go to a bigger team. So I think it's really starting to trend towards this happens now. Now, real quick, I just want to squash some misinformation that's out there, because there's been a few people from the other side that are sharing stuff that's not really accurate. And then unfortunately, there's some folks on our side that are sharing some stuff that's not very accurate. So let me make this pretty clear as much as I can. If he comes in the summer, so let's say it's option 2, like I described earlier. If he comes in the summer, remember, if he joins in the second window, his salary cap hit is half. So if they decide that they're going to pay him $2 million, his salary cap hit on Orlando City would be $1 million, which technically would not make him a DP, right? That while that's true, Griezmann's not going to get paid $2 million in his salary, right? We're going to pay Griezmann probably somewhere between $7 to $9 million when this is all said and done. Now, unless we somehow backload his deal, which is kind of the witchcraft that Miami has been pulling with a few of their players and how they were able to bring in like Busquets and Alba and Messi and Suarez and everybody at the same time. It's a very similar contract deal to how LAFC brought in Gareth Bale. It's very similar to how Galaxy brought on Zlatan. You can kind of backload a contract. If they do that and he comes in the summer, technically you could get away with him not being a DP and you could bring in an extra DP. But then, of course, your struggle becomes next year when you go to figure all the salary stuff out, somebody's got to go, right? So it becomes a little awkward and a little strange and all that. I most likely think that will not happen. I don't think it's going to happen that way because, again, Orlando City want to get him this window, so he would not be able to be bought down off of that DP status. He's going to be a DP. The second thing, of course, that we talked about last week, we saw the number change that Thiago had. He was like photographed with number 7. He talked about wearing number 7 because his favorite player, was Ronaldo. Yeah, we saw that change. He's 11 now. Obviously, that was pretty obvious as well. It makes a lot of sense there. And then last but not least, there's been a lot of talk about how does Óscar Pareja fit this guy in. Some people are even going as far as to say we're going to have to change the whole squad to fit him in.
No, really.
No, we're not, guys. He can play in a bunch of different spots and a bunch of different areas. And a star of his level, you find a place to put him into the lineup. And if Óscar Pareja can't figure that out, as we've said already, he's already on the hot seat. He'll be even more on the hot seat if he can't figure out how to make Griezmann work. I just wanted to put all that out there and kind of make that clear and what it looks like. But it does very much look like this is moving in the right direction. And I think fans can get a little bit more excited about the fact that Griezmann is close. But of course, we want to wait for that fab where it says here we go, or we want to wait for Tom Boger finalizing the deal. Those are the two tweets we want to see first before we start jumping from the rafters and putting Griezmann on the back of our kits and all that kind of stuff.
100%. And now obviously somebody that lived, I believe, and experienced both massive DP signings for Orlando City in history is right here live with us. John with Kaká, this is the number 1. Yeah. And then now, and then Nani. Yeah. So bringing somebody like Griezmann, what are the implications? How is that going to make the, do you think he fits that description, like with the Kakás and with the Nanis of Orlando City? And what are your thoughts on all these news that just hit us out of nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's Kaká and Nani in some ways, right? He's got the name of Kaká's like level. Some people would think even bigger than Kaká, right? If you think about Antoine Griezmann and everything he's done, arguably had a more impressive career than Kaká, and at this point might be a bigger name than Kaká even was when he came here. And then I think on the field he keeps himself like Nani did. I think he's just such a professional and clearly still quite fit. Like he's put in so many minutes. But he's definitely a guy that, we're not dealing with a Luis Muriel situation where we're going to be like, oh, he can't run. Like it's none of that. So I think that this is huge, man. And if he can be that combo of two, he honestly could come in and be the most successful player on the pitch and, the most famous name to ever play for us. It could all happen, but we just got to keep our fingers crossed. I mean, I think I'm thinking about it now from his point of view. And I think that if they're having these conversations and they're throwing the bag at him in terms of like, we want you to come now, and there's a huge bonus to come now. And then they're even talking about, we might not come back in the summer, his agent, his thinking, I don't know what that is, but something's got to say to them, if I want this, I got to do it now. From what we're hearing in Spain, it sounds like it's getting closer. So, we got Landon here in the comments talking about when is the airport meetup for Griezmann. Like, it could be like genuinely in the next few weeks, we could all be at the airport waving Antoine in. So we just got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that everything goes well and that he just makes the decision that we want. But I think ultimately it's down to him, right? So
I just hope we get the opportunity to give him the old airport greeting, because I feel like there's some players we wanted to do it with and we didn't get the chance.
Yeah,
so.
they did it with Facu. They did it with
Yeah. I'm just saying, hey, club, help us out. Like when he's coming, let us know.
I was just at the Orlando Pride jersey reveal, and I was talking to some members of the Orlando City staff, and we were talking what happens if Griezmann comes in. What are we gonna do? Like, what's the vibe here? So I think that they know if this happens how special it is, right? And you've seen when Kaká came in, they did the whole thing, with him at the stadium. We did it. I mean, at the airport, we did it for Banda, we did it for Nani. Like,
Dom Dwyer,
if this happens, they will make a big to do of it. MLS will make a big to do of it. MLS will be in town with all their reporters getting, we'll have Andrew Wiebe up in here wanting to talk to Antoine Griezmann. Like, I'm serious. Like, right now, all of MLS is looking at us because of this deal. And a lot of people are saying this makes total sense. And I think Orlando should go for this. And they're excited about the Florida Derby and all this other stuff. So,
except Joe Lowry.
I just want to make it happen, man. I mean, we're so close, so it's like you can almost reach out and smell the number 7 on the back of his jersey.
No, there's no doubt for people that say that this, and I've seen read stuff that they still say that the Wolves don't spend money on players and stuff like that. I mean, I have a feeling. I mean, based on I talked to some colleagues in Spain today, and they're telling me this has been brewing for the last season. So a year ago already, over a year ago, beginning of 2025, they already got in touch. Not only Orlando, but there were other MLS teams as well. There was another MLS team out west. I'm not going to say the name, but I'm sure you guys probably can figure out that has a Korean player now. That's what I've been told. And he really likes, and this is no joke, they told me that he really likes the Orlando Magic. And so, like, this is no joke. He really likes the Orlando Magic. So
he's like a mad into his American sports.
He's into like NBA fantasy and stuff like that. Like, that's how he likes the NBA so much. So
Chad Johnson said a tweet with him, a picture of him and Griezmann, and he posted that and has like 77,000 likes on X. Like, it's like he knows guys in basketball and football, etc., where they're even like, yo, Antoine, get over here so you can hang out, bro.
Now, people make the comparisons with, what if we get another Luis Muriel? Guys, this is not a Luis Muriel. I'm just gonna let you guys know.
If he comes in shape, which I think he will, that's already a win over Luis Muriel.
He comes hot, scoring assists and goals, being like, Atletico fans don't want him to go. Like, that's how Luis Muriel. I mean, he was nobody was talking to him. With all due respect with Luis Muriel, but nobody was talking to him. He signed with Orlando. Orlando was going to bring him back into being relevant. This guy is already relevant and more. So let's read some comments real quick. It says, Sige, Messi is coming to Orlando City game. That sucks. There you go. Yeah, I feel you, man. 100%. Hope he gets it. Jorge Carlos says, ni con 3 Griezmann tendrán el Inter Miami. Tendrán Inter Miami. Bueno, pues, este es para vos. Dice, with the arrival of Griezmann, how do you foresee changes in the current starting 11? Does Adriana Camarini? Well, like David was saying, there's really no, I mean, he could play wing, he could play 10, he could play striker, he could play second striker. I mean, he's very versatile, so I don't think it's going to change a lot of the structure. When it comes now,
I think the easiest thing for Orlando City is you either replace Duncan and let Griezmann play as more of like a false 9 and kind of do that. And then you keep Ojeda, whatever left winger you want, and then Pasalic on the field. Or you can move Ojeda to the left wing, since we've struggled to find a left winger that can give us production. You move Ojeda to the left wing, slot Griezmann in at the 10, and then let Duncan and Pasalic take the other 2 spots, and you play them there. There's a bunch of different ways I think you could play it. I think the guys on Total Soccer Show talked about him this past week on Tuesday on their MLS show, and I think they had some good points. And you could even see a formation change potentially of, if you wanted to move some people around, or he could more so be, like a Forsberg or a Muller role where they kind of just go wherever they want. You start them in a spot, but they just do and go wherever you want them or need them to go, and they kind of just take care of the game as it is. So I think tactically it's not really going to matter, because you're just going to let a guy like Griezmann go do what he needs to do to find the game. But I do think the more you get Griezmann on the ball, obviously, the better off you're going to be. Like, get the ball at his feet and at Martin Ojeda's feet, and you're cooking. And no amount of, I don't know exactly what that guy said about Inter Miami, but he's going to continue.
That not even with 3 DPs, we're going to be like Inter Miami.
Yeah, tell that to the season series where we whooped some what last year. And then you cheated us in a Leagues Cup game, but sure. Anyway, okay. We didn't need Griezmann's last year to lay the wood on Miami.
Yeah, it's part of the folklore.
Yeah. So anyway, I think Griezmann can play any of those spots as long as you're not playing him in defense. I think you're fine.
That would be crazy. Playing in defense. That's like
or maybe look, CDM.
if we see Griezmann,
if Oscar does that, get him
out. Bro, I'll be the first one to be like, come on, man.
I want to see Griezmann false 9. I think that's the move. I think, because like we have a problem with scoring goals, and that guy can just bang it in from anywhere. Yeah. And like you said, Ojeda running off of him, and it just keeps everybody like, you don't need to reshuffle everything. Just put him in the 9, and he'll be really good. Like, think about, he's like Enrique, like that similar kind of mold. But
except a much better ball player on his feet. Yeah, right? Like he can make what he needs to make.
He can make things happen, and he can make runs off the ball.
He has shot from distance. He could shoot with both feet.
Yeah.
He has shown mid range. He has good set pieces. He's a free kick maestro. He's a good finisher. I mean, he's not probably aerial like headers and stuff. I mean, he scored goals from headers and stuff, but he's not like a massive aerial threat. But I mean, I think overall, like you said, John, I think he'd be as a striker. Why not?
I think the biggest impact. I think the biggest impact you'll see, though, that we haven't talked about this time, but we talked about on Monday, is his locker room presence is going to elevate what this team has right now, and I think that's the biggest thing. And you'll see it on the field as soon as he steps on the field. There's going to be another level of respect, professionalism, even captaincy. I think he's in that running, even though he'd be new. I think you're going to see him be able to take that role over, and that's exactly what this team has been missing since a Luis Nani. I would say captaincy-wise, though, I don't want to take away from Mauricio Pereira. I thought he did a good job at like elevating the team in that role, but he's not the star power that Griezmann is. He's not even close.
100%.
Nani is probably the best comp of like, he's not only bringing you some star power, but I think he's at a better performance level in terms of Nani on the field, but he has a similar like locker room presence of like, I'm going to make this team elevate and all that kind of stuff, which is exactly what you want.
He has that inventive in which the game is at a halt, right? And it's a very like, it looks like, is this going to be a draw? He lights it up to be that difference maker, and we haven't had that since Nani, essentially. So I think he fits that void. I mean, we thought Morir was going to be that guy for us, right? And clearly that didn't pan out the way we wanted. Anthony Solis says, if Papi Ball is just a dumbed down version of Simeone Haram Ball, I think Griezmann will mention. Yeah, so I agree on that. I think Simeone and Pareja are very similar when it comes to defense. So yeah, he probably will do great. I mean, you would think, but again, if we see that he's playing in a weird position or they're not able to take the best out of him, then things are gonna have to change. Wars 801 says, I just read Messi came over to his bench, clenching his collarbone area. Says, there you go. Well, we'll discuss in just a second. Messi isn't even playing today and will probably sit on Sunday too, says Jamie Whitmore. I think he's gonna be playing the second half of that game. He has to. My
It's
understanding.
in halftime right now, so I'm going to see if he starts in a minute.
Yeah. Griezmann will be on number 9. Thiago on the left. Duncan substitution, says Ruben. I think that's probably a good
I
idea.
wish I
as
had
well.
confidence that Oscar would play Thiago on the left, but
Yeah, me too. I don't want to. I don't want to see Thiago playing in a different position. To be honest with you. Jamie Whitmore. Angulo will be the first one out. Landon, this is. I think Thiago will be the star on the left. His birthday is March 21st. Is Spicy Gnocchi. Thank you, Spicy. Appreciate you. Mikey D says, don't you think he should start striker? Duncan ain't doing it for me, says Mikey D. I mean, we'll see what happens in this game. It says March 7th, goodbye game against Real Sociedad, says Ruben Perez.
that's what we've heard. Yeah.
Griezmann, it says Ruben Perez says Griezmann. Angulo, pass me the damn ball. Thank you to Oz. Yes, it says that we have a 3-year. We're offering a 3-year contract, and we're building a team around him. And I think that's what we should do. I mean, if we sign a caliber player, that level of a caliber of a player, we gotta be dumb enough not to surround him with players that will make him succeed.
No, of course. Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's why I brought up on Monday, like last week, because there's been rumors that Pasalic might want to go back to Europe especially after the World Cup. If he wants to go, of course, this club's probably not going to stop him, and we'll make our money back on him. But I think that's where this team could really have an impact in terms of who they put around Griezmann, right? Because if they put somebody even higher level than what Pasalic was, could you imagine what this team could look like? Like, what if he's able to call one of his friends and say, hey, come join me in Orlando. This is going to be a great time. They can pay you, what you want to pay you because they have one of these spots open. Like, it could be pretty gnarly.
I mean, just his name alone could attract other good players to come to play for Orlando, especially from Europe. One of my dreams is to have Jack Grealish. Right there. Maybe on the other wing. Everton or Orlando City.
And then you can shout, "Go on, Jackie boy," as he runs down the wing. Yeah, I like that.
There you go. But anything else you guys want to add about Antoine Griezmann before we go to dissect the upcoming game against Inter Miami? John?
Nah, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about him again. He's not going to go away until we know this is happening or not happening. So more to come from Antoine. Fingers crossed.
What about you, David? Anything else you have?
I just don't want to jinx it. I know I'm putting the information out as I see it, but as you guys can probably tell on Twitter and stuff, I am not putting my own analysis in. I'm just crossing my fingers every time I press send on those tweets to make sure that we don't jinx it, because I do not want to jinx it at this point.
Anthony Solis, 7180. Any news from Cartagena? Yes. So obviously I messaged the club, no response. So then I started thinking, and I started remembering other injuries. And so more than likely the club has not responded to me because they're going to release this on Saturday night before the game. When they do the availability report, it's going to be there. And more than likely, it's not going to say the actual injury. It probably would say questionable or lower leg or lower body. Now, from my understanding, per sources, I think even Oscar said it, he pulled something in the hamstring. And if you look at a pulled hamstring, usually is around 2 to 3 weeks. It's not a tear, from my understanding. So if it was a tear, you're talking about 3 or 4 months. So
for a full tear, yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding is he probably will miss Sunday, and will be questionable the upcoming 2 games after that. So. We'll see. Hopefully I'm incorrect. This squad is looking so good, but our damn defense, man. Yeah. So let's dive in, obviously into Inter Miami. Keep Florida purple. right? The Lions swept Miami in 2025 with Messi, 3-0 away and 4-1 home, I believe, right? So we've had some strong historical edge in some derbies. Obviously, they've never been able to beat Orlando in Inter&Co Stadium, so obviously it is a must win, and I think it will be after the defeat against on the first game. It's definitely necessary to win this game. So it will definitely give the fans some composure, and now for starters, from my understanding is that we are missing Robin, we're missing obviously Wilder, Edra Tuesta, hamstring tightness as well. Jordan Gervais, obviously. Luis Otavio, maybe sidelined.
He's back in full training.
Luis Otavio's back on full training.
Yep. He should probably start the bench.
What are your expectations coming to this game, David?
Yeah, I think going off of your talk about the opening week, I think we need a win against them more than ever. I think the fan base is really going to be looking for this team to come out much different than how they came out against the Red Bulls in the first half and honestly punch Miami in the mouth, right? I think that's really what this team needs to do. They need to come out and just stick 1 or 2 on them from the jump and really just smother them from the start of the game. There's some changes that I think Oscar should go with. It'll be interesting to see if he actually does it. We know Óscar Pareja doesn't like to really rock the boat, but personally, one of those for me is I think Miller has to start this game. Iago just didn't have it. I think you're just looking for defensive solidity at that point, so you bring him in. Obviously, Gusky's going to have to probably come in for Cartagena because I don't think Otavio is going to be ready yet. So I think Colin Gusky, probably gets the call there. And then sort of a little bit of breaking news, but I did hear from a few sources, and then also you can kind of see this in the pictures and videos that the club put out the last couple of days. Adrian Marine picked up a knock in training, and he has not been training at least today or the last 2 days. In his stead, I have heard Tahir Reed-Brown has been getting most of the looks over there with a little bit of David Brecalo. So we'll see what that looks like. I don't know how serious the knock is for Marine, if it'll knock him out for the weekend. But as of right now, that's kind of what it looks like. So either most likely your defense will be Dorsey on the right-hand side. You'll have Miller and Brecalo in the center with Tahir Reed-Brown on the left. Or you could see something like if they want to be a little bit, I don't know if it's much safer because Iago didn't have a great game, but you would have Miller, Iago, and then Brecalo on the left. And then, of course, Dorsey would continue to play on the right. So few different options that the team could employ there. But I want to say that Marine is a loss, but I don't know that I can fully commit to saying that he's that big of a loss. The only concern I have is that throwing Tahir Reed-Brown in a game like this is risky, right? I mean, the guy hasn't played really much at all at the top level, and so you really would be putting him against a very difficult opponent for that game. But again, injuries are injuries. You kind of just have to deal with what you have there. So I'll be curious to see what it looks like. Crépeau might need to stand on his head again in order to get this team, to a win or at least a draw. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what that looks like.
So with Cartagena not being in the lineup, it will be Brian Ojeda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then who will we see? Ivan Angulo?
No, Gusky, I imagine.
Yeah.
Gusky?
Yeah, I think Oscar will want to keep his double pivot to start the game.
Do you guys remember when Jean Gervais really stepped up in that game against Inter Miami?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a moment here for Colin Gusky where he could, shine, even though he's just Colin Gusky, right?
Yeah, I see a few people talking about Angulo at center mid. You're not going to start Angulo at center mid. To me, you're only going to do that if you're chasing the game or you're really trying to pour on. Ivan Angulo will do a lot of running for you, but he's not going to do the proper defensive work in a game like this against a line of Messi, Berterame, whoever the hell else is going to be on the field for them. I just don't think you're going to see that. Poppy's going to play it safe. He's going to want his double pivot of 2 6s in front of the back line for this game because you're going to want to protect against it.
Now, Brecalo really doesn't want to play left back. And
I would go Brecalo left back, but like David said, like then you got to put Iago in, and Iago and Miller together is just like that. Just come on.
So I think this is we come into in times in which we don't have a lot of depth, but we may have a diamond in the rough. I mean, physically, Reed Brown it is a question mark. We haven't really seen him in the first team at all. I think it's a huge gamble that they're taking, but if it's not now, when is it going to be too? You know what I mean? Like, now is he somebody that can at least be disruptive and just, stop a attack through the flanks? Maybe, maybe he's physically imposing enough that he could kind of put away some threats, coming off the wing. I don't know. What are your thoughts of having an unproven Reed Brown in the first team, possibly starting, John, for Orlando?
I mean, Alex Freeman got thrown in and he succeeded, so I'm not saying it can't happen. Like we've seen Colin Gusky last week, got put in there maybe unexpectedly and did pretty well. It's not on
Taifi.
I mean, that's where I was going to go with this. Really,
he just hasn't trained there based on sources. Like from what sources have told me, he hasn't trained at left back all week.
I hear that from David. I wanted Zach, I wanted him there in preseason because I saw him play there in preseason and thought he looked pretty decent and was kind of impressed by the way that he was able to run up and down the left wing the same way that he does up and down the right wing and kind of didn't really affect his game too much. But yeah, I mean, I think personally, I would like to see Taifi go in there. I think that makes the most sense. But if Oscar is reluctant to give him a shot at right back to start, like he could have started him last weekend instead of pushing Griffin to be ready. And he didn't do that. So I agree. I just don't see him going for Taifi, but maybe Taifi is the best left back option we have after Marin right now. I don't know. It's hard to say. If we had more center backs, I'd put Brecalo there.
I think Taifi's
like center backs.
I agree with David. I think he's the safest too. Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think it's less risk putting Taifi there than Reed Brown.
Out of the two, Oscar would probably be more confident in Taifi based on what we've seen, obviously, that, over the past year and a half, he's gotten more minutes and stuff like that. The other thing that I would consider, and again, I don't think they're going to formation change for this game, is if you went to a back three, maybe I'd feel more comfortable if Iago, Brecalo, and Miller all got on the field at the same time. And maybe you play that way, but I just don't know. I don't 100% know how well that went for them in the preseason in terms of what they were able to do and put together. But it's a possibility because then Dorsey's not really asked to defend as much. He can just kind of get forward and do his thing and occupy the space. Spicer did play as a left wing back for Toronto a little bit when he was with Toronto. So maybe it's a more natural spot for him with that. But I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting. It's something you can consider. And then, Maguire and Ojeda can kind of play off of each other, but Ojeda can play more of that false nine and drop into the hole a little bit and still distribute and, get to where he needs to get to and stuff. So, I don't know. It's a possibility, but I don't know if Oscar goes full bore with that and tries to make that happen.
And you still got to play Iago in that situation, right? Because we're not. Right. You still got to play all your center backs are out at once. Then, so if one of them goes down, or you want to make a sub, but you got no center backs to make subs in a 3 center back formation,
right?
Yeah, I think I like where you're going in the head. I don't think Oscar will do it.
I don't think he's gonna do it, to be honest.
I definitely like what you're saying by Oscar telling Spicer, "Hey, dude, you got to defend." I think Dorsey could do the up and down, even though he left a lot of gaps in the first game. But I think with Miller right there, I think will probably be better there. Brecalo kind of assuming a kind of quasi third center back, left back role that he probably doesn't like, but I think he was really good last season. And then we just have to, pray for Iago to have best game he's ever played ever.
Well, and I hate to say this, but Angulo probably has a better game if he's in Spicer's spot as a left wing back versus potentially a full left winger.
True.
And so because he's going to put in more work, I think, than Spicer's going to. So that is definitely a possibility if you want to get Angulo on the field. That's kind of one of the ways that you could get Angulo on the field. But again, like John says, there's no backup. So if you lose a center back or something goes wrong, you don't really have anybody there. So you're going to have to make a formation change if somebody gets injured. So I think it's unlikely. I think the safest way to go, and again, we'll see what Poppy feels, but I think the safest way to go would be play Taifi at left back and just hope that he's got enough time and that he's put the proper work in to make that work, and then just kind of play out of your traditional, 4-2-3-1 and hope that you can break down Miami and just, again, like I said, come out much hotter than you did against Red Bulls.
You guys imagine if, and I have no doubt this could happen, but imagine that Taifi would have a massive game against Miami. I mean, that's huge. I mean,
Well, I don't think you could take him off the field if he did. I think if he did, I think it's his spot to lose at that point.
And not only that, I mean, that tells you if Marin is already injured, like we need to do something with that. I feel like it ain't working. I think I'm going more towards it ain't working, Senor. It's not working, dude. It's just not working. Spicy Gnocchi says, we really need Sam Vines. Yeah, Sam Vines is available for Colorado. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anthony Solis, we need Iago to body slam Messi. Well, Messi, guys, came in. He's on the pitch right now, and he shaved his little mustachio. So I don't know if this is a sign that it's getting ready for Mickey
So he's
Mouse.
questionable. He's questionable with razor burn then.
There you go. This is Poppy is calling Smith right now. Can you make it back by Sunday?
He's with Cincy.
Yeah, we are missing those flexible guys that could, right? We need a guy who could play multiple positions.
Well, and that's supposed to be Taifi if Poppy had any confidence in the young kids.
I mean, I think, like, common sense wise and knowing Pareja, this should be the lineup. I mean,
yeah.
This makes more sense. Now, one thing that David talked about on the last episode was why in the first game against the Red Bulls, this three up top in the 4-2-3-1 weren't exchanging positions like usually they would do with Facu and also last season with Pasalic and Ojeda. Why were they so ecstatic? And I don't know if it's because of Thiago being so new in the team, but I think they could all three do it. It used to work pretty well for that front four with them doing the switcheroo there. I don't know. Maybe just Rebel was so good that they didn't get to do it in that game.
But to your point, Luis, like, you got to get Ojeda and Pasalic going in this game. They were invisible for a large section of the game, and obviously Pasalic got pulled at half. Like, you have to find a way to get them involved. And so, for example, if the space is available on the left-hand side again, and I don't know, I can't remember who Miami's right back. Frey started for them against LAFC. If Frey's giving you the space, switch Pasalic to the other side. And, like, for example, if Spicer still starts, like, if he gets another start, which according to some folks that I've talked to, it sounds like they're going to give Spicer another go. If the space is on the left and Spicer doesn't have it again, switch them. Why don't you just put Pasalic in a better spot to cook them a little bit? Or, for example, if the space is on the right-hand side, have the team play through the right-hand side more often. I think that'll be more natural because Dorsey likes to get forward and he wants to get over there. And I think Dorsey would cook Allen because I think Noah Allen played in that spot for them. I think he's easy to cook on that side. And Segovia is not going to defend, so you don't need to really worry about that too much. So I think the right-hand side in this game might be the weak side for them, because the only thing that's going to change that is Mikael plays on the left side of that center back formation. I wish it was Falcone because he's trash. Anytime you can work through Falcone, that's your success against Miami.
Falcone is playing right now, but Orlando City was able to take both regular season matches from Inter. And the only way we were able to do that is exactly what LAFC did in their last game, which was score first. Having that effectiveness. Orlando City has the talent. Big time players make big time plays. So clearly, like to tackle what David said and to pass it to John, I feel like Martin Ojeda needs to lead the way, man, and become a little more influential. And then obviously at the 9, Duncan McGuire needs to remind everybody why Europe came knocking, right? A few seasons ago. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on the front 3, John?
We just got to get our transition attacks right. And I think that was the thing with Spicer last week. There are so many wasted opportunities and they're all coming to him on that left side. So we're going to have the breakaway, right? Like Miami is going to dominate somewhat of the possession. Even at home, I think Oscar's like, we're going to sit back a bit, right? I don't think we're going to want to try and play a high line and own the ball all the time. I think there's going to be times when we do that. Maybe we'll come out aggressive at the start. But for me, I think it's important that when we do have the transition opportunities that we're actually taking advantage of them. When you look at the game that they played against LAFC, what LAFC did so well was just like 1, 2, 3 passes up the field from like Son, Bawanga to Martinez. Their best players playing really like sometimes straight through the middle of the park, but are like later on in the game around the outside. Beating like Ian Frey and Noah Allen in the fullback positions. So they're definitely like they're not the Miami that they should be yet, right? I think they got this new defense, but they clearly haven't figured it out. So there's some weakness there. But when we have that opportunity where the game is open in front of us, we have to be clean with our passes. It should just be 1, 2, 3, shoot on goal. And I think we just get up the field and we have all the space and we panic. Like you just see it it's not just Spicer. We've seen it from lots of our players. Paslich was doing it last game. Ojeda even did it a couple times. Duncan, that front 4, they need to be in good communication and they need to just be clean with their passes. That's honestly all it is. It's about having a clean, smooth attacking transition. And we can score goals in Miami that way. And that's how we did it last year. And we can do it again, but we just have to be clean with our passes because it's been too sloppy.
58-minute between Miami and Independiente del Valle from Ecuador, 1-1. Messi still on the pitch. Independiente, a former Orlando City, Sebas Mendes, is on the pitch right now. He's the captain. He's the captain of Independiente del Valle right now. So good for Sebas Mendes, man. Now,
Sebas, take down Messi. Come on, you want
man,
to.
Just break his foot, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Mikey, this is Falcone. The major weakness is laugh, bro. I never liked Falcone. Even when he played in Colo Colo, bro, in Chile, he I don't know why he came to Inter, but whatever. This is actually Griezmann starts in the wing but floats around. Yeah. This is Vamos Independiente. This is Landon. I'd rather have Thiago at striker than Duncan and then Spicer left winger. Yeah, I mean that could be an option. That could definitely be an option. Now, is Oscar going to do it? Another thing that really works for me is a tactical breakdown. Mascherano, it's not the best coach around. You could definitely checkmate him. He's very easy to predict as a coach. But you have to, when things are not working for you, you got to make the changes right away. And that's one thing about Orlando is we wait a little longer until shit hits the fan. And then we realize, oh, crap, we're losing. We're down 2, right? And then now we got to climb back.
I was going to say on Thiago, that's why I don't think he'll get the start at left wing because we just don't have any other strikers. So, like, if Duncan's not doing much, who are you going to bring on?
I mean,
Maybe
yeah.
Justin Ellis. They
Yeah,
finally
it could
give
be
him
Ellis.
a shot.
It could be
Hopefully,
Harvey
man.
Sajarn if he's healthy. He's another guy that could play at
Harvey.
striker. I just think right now Poppy likes the change of pace that Thiago brings off the bench. The problem is, like we talked about on Monday, he's just subbed too late. He subbed Taifi on too late.
Too
He
late.
subbed Thiago on too late. So he's got to be willing to pull the trigger 10 minutes earlier and say, okay, let's get him on the field and go do whatever. But here's the other thing too. If everything goes right in the start of the game, let's say we go up 2-0 on them or 3-0 on them at halftime, right? The game is not going to be putting Thiago on at that point. It's going to be putting Taifi on. It's going to be putting Luis Otavio on if Luis
Correct.
Otavio is healthy. You're going to see Poppy bunker as hard as he possibly can to hold on to that lead, and that's most likely what ends up happening there.
Yeah, but also parking the bus too early.
I agree, but we know Poppy enough to know that he's going to park it as soon as he can.
Bus too early
as soon as he can park it. But the other thing we know too is that, for example, if he wants to park, but he still wants a wrecker in the middle of the field, he could bring Angulo on and just say, "Hey, you go run after the ball. I don't care how much energy it takes. Go run after the ball. Go tackle. You want to go tackle 2-foot Messi? I don't really care. Go do what you want to go do." And then you have everyone else behind him. At that point, because again, the other thing that we haven't talked about because he's been hurt, but Luis Otavio is a very good young player who can go and get stuck in to a lot of tackles. He plays physical. He plays hard. He's a bigger kid than you expect him to be. I know he's got the baby face because he's like 18 years old, but the dude knows how to get stuck in. And so I could very much see this game being, somehow Brian Ojeda, him, and Gusky all in the midfield at the same time, really just playing defensively in front of the back line when it's time to play bunker ball.
Independiente just almost scores a goal to make it 2-1, and Rocco Taco Rios, he just had a massive save right now, but they're getting closer. I mean, people paid over $100 to see Messi to lose. That'd be pretty crazy. Hopefully, people don't riot over there. But Carlos Mejia says, "Gotta reward good performances. Thiago was one of the few positives from that terrible game." Yeah, I think he made an immediate impact. I've seen enough. We're putting Smith in. What is it? Oh, wait a
Jack
second.
Lynn when we need him, huh?
Right. Why are they wearing the same jerseys? Yeah, it's because. So for what I was told, Inter Miami had Rafa was their media coordinator, media liaison or whatever for communications, which worked at Orlando City before Jackie Maynard took over. And what happened was when Inter was created, they poached a lot of the Orlando City staff. So a lot of the Orlando City staff went to Miami. Now, Rafa was one of them. Great guy, by the way. We'll say hello to Rafa if he's ever watching. Messi literally last year said, "I'm going to bring my own communications guy." And they told Rafa, "Hey, Rafa, we have a position in marketing. It's either that or being on the unemployment line." And Rafa had to go work on marketing. They put him in marketing, and then now Messi brought his own some Spaniard guy that he befriended from Barcelona to do the communications. Now, this whole thing about the jerseys, I put it on communications because it spans from communications to the kit manager at some point. I mean, you gotta know. That's the reason why it's like they don't even know who they're playing.
Well, it would have made more admin's job to make sure this is
Well, and it would have made more sense for them to wear pink because they're probably going to wear black this weekend anyway because they're away, in Orlando. So, like, why didn't you just wear your pinks and then you didn't have to? I don't know.
Well, why are they playing a friendly in the mid? Like, just give the money back and don't play the friendly. Like, this is dumb.
It's all about this, the dinero,
this
man.
This is all about the money, isn't it?
Are we playing with our yellow kids?
No, we're going back to purple for this game.
We're going back to purple. Yeah.
Please, no. I gotta say, I didn't say it last week. I mean, on Monday, but that really cheeses me off. I'm sorry. Just
it's an omen. It's a superstition for a lot of football fans that you don't wear your away kit at home.
I
You just
get that
don't
they
do
want
it.
to sell it, but just not the first home game. Do it for a home game, fine, but not the first home game of the season. Come on.
I saw a post that a supporter group said that they did that jersey because of the supporter groups. I think that's cool. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it says Carlos Mejia gotta reward good performances. Yeah, okay, I already read that. But anyways, we are already pretty much set a lineup, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys want to run it back real quick. Do you guys feel comfortable having Thiago, or you think it's gonna be Spicy T?
I think it's gonna be Spicer.
Okay, so let's put Spicer.
I think it's gonna be Spicer, or Oscar's gonna do something crazy and reward Angulo and put Angulo out.
No, that'd be. He works
I'm just
better off
telling
the
you, I could
bench.
see it happening. That's all I'm gonna say. I could see it happening.
It's Reed Brown or Taifi. I don't see it any other way. I don't, unless he wants to play Brecalo at left back and play Iago again, which I
just don't know how you get that young at center back. I think it's just a mistake.
Yeah, based on performance of the last game, I think Miller and Taifi probably need to play. They need to start. I think if Taif is fit, now Tyree Brown, I think he'll be definitely. I think Marion will not play, so I think it's Taifi. So it's going to be Crepeau, and that's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Crepeau versus St. Clair. I mean, right now.
Well, Miami fans are already clamoring for Novo to be the starter. They hated what they saw last weekend.
They said that Sinclair, they call him Baby Sinclair from the show Dinosaurs. Like he's terrible. Apparently, people are freaking out. But Crepeau comes from being one of the man of the match. So I think it's going to be another big night for Maxime Crepeau. I think we need to see that edge he showed in the second half, especially.
I just don't want 11 saves for him. Like, please, can we not let him get peppered that much? Like,
yeah, but he was vocal. That's one thing I appreciate.
Sure. Yeah, his leadership in the second half was good. Yeah, for sure.
When he directed like Miller, he was talking to like Taifi when he came in. He's like, being commanding. I think that's super important. So good for him, man. So this should be our lineup for the game against Inter. Crepeau at the helm. Then we have Dorsey, Miller, Brecalo, and Taifi. Then we have Gusky and Brian Ojeda. Right there on the left wing, we have Terry Spicer. On the right wing, Marco Pasalic. At the 10, Martin Ojeda. And up top, the Haaland of the Heartland, Duncan Maguire. Ruben Perez says, this is not hockey. Defense has to do better. Yeah, we
need to start brightly and get out on the front foot, right? We can't be starting pen back by Miami like we did. The start against Red Bulls was so bad. The first 20 minutes, they had so many chances. They could have scored 3 or 4. If we start like that against Miami, Messi, Berterame, Allende, whoever, they're gonna score. There was like teenagers out there. They managed to score last week, so. Miami will score goals early and the game will be over early if we start like that. So we cannot do that. I thought it was interesting you're saying about the goalkeepers, Luis. Dane Sinclair, I noticed in the game against LAFC, he just like came flying out of his box, like and off his line, like all the second goal. He's like in no man's land, just wandering around
like
miles away from his goal. So like, I mean, he's according to FootMob, goals prevented for him was minus 0.61 last game. He made 2 saves and an error that led to a goal and conceded 3 goals. So like it was compared to Crepeau, who was pulling out 11 saves and saving all this XG against him, and he didn't let that many in. Basically everything that came at Dane Sinclair, he made a mess of or let it in. So he had a nightmare start. But again, their whole back line looked pretty bad against LAFC. Like I said, in those counterattack moments, they were just getting cut open. So maybe that's what we need to look for, is be solid and look for those opportunities on the counter to try and just quickly attack them while they're disorganized at the back. It seems like they got some issues like we do, where their center backs, their fullbacks, their goalkeeper are not on the same page yet. And we need to take advantage of that.
No, it seems right now that Miami was given a penalty of a potential handball. Suarez was trying to cross, and I guess one of the defenders grabbed it with its hand.
Yeah, he
And
kicked
yeah,
it like into his arm.
it's 2-1 Inter right now with Messi Panenka. No, no. Talking about that and looking how De Paul is in the game now, and Messi's in the game, and Suarez coming in the second half. And Sebas Mendes just got a yellow card, I believe, for bringing Messi down. That's one
Yeah,
thing we need to
Seba,
talk
do that
about.
again.
Huh? What?
Said Seba heard us. He's trying to take down Messi.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So I feel like that's what this young Orlando City team is also need to take notes on. And I know a lot of the players watch and listen. So thank you guys for checking us out. You guys cannot lose your composure with this team. They're gonna try to piss you off as much as they can. They're gonna try to talk you. They're gonna try to pull your jersey. They're gonna
DePaul
try.
especially.
They're gonna be, and Messi is gonna try to, in Spanish we call it ningunear, which means like he's gonna say, "Hey, who the hell are you? How many World Cups have you won?" He's gonna say, "How many champions do you have?" He's gonna say, "Hey, so it's a mental game against these veterans that are heavily experienced." Um, Suarez is known for that. Now they brought in Berterame, they brought in Rodrigo De Paul, so they're gonna bring all of that. Do not give in. Just keep pushing, and you have to understand. I mean, you're playing for. I mean, you lost your first game. That's another thing I want to say. You lost your first game. I mean, and the fans. This is a massive game for the fans. And they've never won at home.
Can I say something about that too? This is a massive game for Óscar Pareja.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we should underscore what that looks like. I think like obviously if it's close and we play them close, if we win or draw or maybe lose by a goal or something like that, it is what it is. It's a rivalry game. Things happen, right? But if we get blown out, like let's look at the reverse of it. If we get
Like
blown out,
5-0,
4-0, 3-0, 5-0, questions have to be asked. Like Oscar's
100%.
seat's already hot. We've talked about that. So like, can you go with a week one loss, then get blown out by your rival, and then you're on the road to NYCFC? Like, again, I'm not advocating for someone's job to be lost, but these are how coaches get fired. Like, I hate to break it to you, but that's kind of just the fact of the situation, right? And so I think Luis is really onto something in saying that the players need to be up for this, right? Mentally, you got to be up for it. Physically, you got to be up for it, the whole 9 yards. But the biggest thing, too, is that there's still a bunch of old men on this field. So outrun them because Messi's not going to defend. DePaul's not going to defend unless it's in his little circle, right? Falcone can't defend to save his life, and yet he's a defender. Like, these are, we saw how bad Dane St. Clair was and how off his line he was getting. That right there should be a tip off to you. Try to round him because he's not going to be able to catch you and he's going to come way out. So those are all things you got to be taking a look at. The nice thing, too, moving on to what Miami's lineup can look like, because I saw Luis pulled that up. We found out today that Salvetti, I think, is questionable for this weekend.
Yeah, Salvetti is questionable, which is to me one of the most dangerous players I have. I mean, be honest with you, aside of Messi, I think Salvetti has been a menace. But again, don't. I know this sounds so bad. They're Argentinian, so they're like, viste, en línea general, yo soy argentino, viste. They're gonna try to, play the jersey on you, right? They're gonna throw his jersey. Oh, I'm a world champ. Like I'm Argentinian. Like I'm like 3 leagues above you. Like, so they're gonna come with that attitude. You just gotta humble them. Just become effective. Run, just like David says. Outrun them. Press them. And be careful, because they're gonna flop. They're gonna throw. They're gonna try to when they cross the ball, they're gonna try to hit your arm. So it's a penalty. So they're experienced players and know the book. And talking about that, talking about the book, John, we have a referee, right? I don't know if you want to talk about the ref, John, the ref that we're getting out of this game. It's I forgot. I think he's Turkish, I believe.
Moroccan.
Yeah, I know
Moroccan.
David's got some.
Yeah.
You guys will recognize his face. His name might not be as
Elbath or Alphaba?
Ishmael Alfaf.
Ishmael. I always remember that.
Ishmael Alphaba.
Yeah, I think I'll pull up a picture of him. But David, you want to talk us through the past with this ref?
As somebody who's watched a fair amount of MLS over the past like 4 or 5 years, I can't stand this guy. I think he's not good. I think he's one of pro's worst refs, to be honest with you. He's not up there with like Ted Uncle and Chris Penso like level bad, but he's pretty bad. But anyway, just some stats for when he officiates us. He's given Orlando City in his entire career in giving cards. We have the 6th most as a team for Ishmael Alfaf. And then we have the 6th lowest winning percentage when he referees our games. We're at like 20-something% when he referees our games. So not a good number. And then for draws, it's around like 30%. So not much better. Most of the time we lose when he's the center ref. He has reffed the Florida Derby before. He reffed it in 2021 and in 2020. We drew the one in 2021 and then we lost the one in 2020. So it's been a while since he's reffed the Florida Derby, but I don't think this was a great draw for us ref wise. He seems to be fairly lenient with Miami. They're in the bottom like 10, I think bottom like 7 in terms of total cards given to Miami, and Miami does have a pretty good win record with him at the helm. So I'm not trying to put on my tinfoil hat too early here, but Alfaf might not be the right ref for us to see this through, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. John, you want to comment?
I got the picture here.
Oh,
I think a lot of people will remember that face.
Yeah.
He's just bad. I just remember him being bad, honestly. Like, I just remember him making horrible calls and just stuff that was just like, face. What was that? Like, dude, what are you doing? So
I will say,
yeah,
he's
there's
one of the
certain
few
refs I
that's
don't
responded
get excited. I don't get excited about certain refs, and he's one.
He's gonna ask Messi for his jersey.
I think my thing is just call it fair. Like in the league last year, we did have 2 games that were called really fair against Miami, and it made it much more entertaining. And look, we managed to get some results. And then the Leagues Cup came, and we all saw what happened there, where it was not ref fairly whatsoever. So I just want a fair game, and I just don't want a ref that is going to call ridiculous stuff that is so obvious that it drives us insane, and we're banging our heads against the wall asking, how is this fair? So just call a decent enough game. Well, that's all we want.
He reffed us against Cincinnati and gave us like 4 yellow cards.
And a red. Yeah. And a red. Yeah. That's where we had 5 cards.
That's what I mean, is like he just started getting card happy for nothing.
Well, what I'm worried about, John, is I'm worried that the league's going to want to overcorrect for the misjustice that happened last week against LAFC that a lot of the fans were talking about. I'm very concerned that and honestly, this is not tinfoil hat part.
There's no misjustice, by the way.
I'm concerned that they're going to go to pro and say, well, yeah, Messi was getting hacked up a little bit, and DePaul was getting hacked up a little bit, and Bertarame and all these other people. We need to call it more fair, so we'll be keeping an eye on this game. Like, I really don't want the fingers to be put on the scale here.
Look at that. We have Kyle Atkins and VAR, Edwin Drew.
Oh, God, and Mendoza as the 4th
official.
Rosendo
Mendoza. Jesus freaking Christ.
Unlucky as hell.
Bro.
The drama on Sunday just really went up a notch.
If you are a player of Orlando City and you're watching this, or you're in the front office, please take notes of this. Please, we're going to generate in the first half maybe 3 or 4. Let's put him. The only way to beat this, because they're playing with 13 people. I mean, looking at Rosendo Mendoza and Ismail Elfa, like it's like might as well just say, hey, take it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't want to be.
We could beat them is by scoring first.
Yeah. I don't want to be this guy either, but like our stadium's been taken over by Miami before. Like fans have come into the stadium and they've silenced our crowds before and have really infiltrated before. So I give the speech that I like to give every time. If you can't make it to the game, that's fine. But please, for the love of God, sell to an Orlando City fan. Like, do your due diligence. I understand that you could potentially make some money on this game. Just be careful. I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of pink nightmares that don't understand ball and just go on their knees and pray to Messi. Like, come on. Like, please just be careful of what that looks like.
I hope the wall section, and I think they will do this, they're going to put in the barriers on either side of the wall where they literally just don't let people walk through that section if you're wearing Miami stuff, because like we don't need that. But I expect you're going to see pink and blue and all these messy jerseys around the stadium like last time. Yeah, and it is what it is, but based on our last attendance, I hope we can get a really good attendance, and then you're just seeing a lot of purple and there's not too much pink in there. Because last game the attendance was awesome. Like, it was great. We played terribly, but the attendance rocked.
Just don't leave early, because all of you that left early missed the goal. So
yeah, don't do that.
Joke's on you.
It says, honestly, wouldn't be mad if Suarez bites Oscar.
Jeez, come
on. Jesus Christ. The refs belong on OBT.
We can start it already.
It says, how do we feel about last game, Duncan's performance, and Angulo? Well, Angulo's going to be a substitution. Duncan's performance, hopefully it improves. And last game, bad first half, better second half. We need to see more of the second half than the first half. We need to... I'm going to summarize it. In my opinion, Crepo needs to have another man of the match performance. That's my opinion, because we're thin. I mean, it's not like I don't trust the kids. It's just that obviously we're thin, in the back line. And I think that's expected because we have Iago's green and Taifi's probably going to start, hopefully. We need to have a strong back line despite the misses. So David Brecalo at an A-game, Nolan Miller again being a stud, right? And obviously having Maxime Crepeau. And then the rest, it'll be, Orlando's going to generate opportunities, as I already mentioned. You just got to put it in, guys. We need to see Duncan Maguire like scoring, not thinking of passing it back. We need to see Martin Ojeda not just dribbling around the first half like against the Red Bull, just looking around like, okay, like where am I right now? Like, we need to see that number 10. And again, don't be nice to Messi. You can ask him for his jersey and a picture after. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're on the pitch,
don't do it at all.
Don't do it on the
guy.
Field. Do it in the locker room later.
Screw that guy.
Yeah,
I always thought Schlegel was too nice to his countrymen. We're the first game I ever saw us play them really, really hard was that game that Cesar Araujo got stuck in and just like put Messi in his pocket for most of that game. That's the kind of shit you have to do to this guy. Like, I don't care if he's like the greatest of all time or whatever it is. Colin Gusky, I'm talking to you right now. Hi, Colin Gusky. Put that dude in your pocket, and if you have to beat him up the whole game, I don't care. Beat him up. That's exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you're an American, goddammit.
This is our land.
Show them what we're gonna do in the World Cup.
I think that's a good point, because I was thinking about like on-field battles and matchups, and it's always that question with Messi is like, who's gonna mark him? And I think, like we did with Gervais, just stick Gusky on him like a little Energizer bunny that won't leave the guy alone. Like, frustrate him to the point where he just, even if you can't win the ball back, just be in the way all the time. And that will annoy Messi to the point where he starts to lose his head. And then, if we've scored a goal or two at that point, then he's like, you watch against the LA game, the reason he was so mad and wanted to go to the refs locker room, didn't make it there. The reason he was so mad was because they just didn't let him play, really. They played so well in the first half, and in the second half, LAFC just like shut it down, put so many men back there that he just wasn't able to break him down, and he was frustrated and mad. So if you get in Messi's head, you basically just take away all of what Inter Miami are trying to do, because everything goes around him.
And
then
I think
I wanted to.
I think B. Ojeda needs to play the Eustaquio role, and the fact of how Eustaquio was like pointing to different players, hey, go do this, hey, go do that, hey, go do this. Like without Wilder Cartagena in, we're going to be missing that. So it's really on Brian Ojeda at this point to say, okay, Gusky, if you're going to be on this guy, great, but you got to go here. Okay, I'm going to go here. This person's going to occupy the space there, or we're going to double team Messi when he gets the ball in these spaces, and we're going to make him have to go through us like cones, right? Or whatever it is, right? That's what they need to do in order to stay on him. And then I think the other matchup, to speak on John's matchup things, I think either Brekalo or Nolan Miller, and I lean towards Brekalo, needs to have Berterame in their pocket. He's not the fastest
100%.
striker, so he's not going to run past you necessarily. He's a stronger dude. He's going to have that in his game, but you got to stay with him and be physical with him all game. And if for some reason it's not working out for Miller, or even if it's not working out for Brekalo, I think you have to, I know this is going to be crazy for some people, but if it's a strength battle, Iago maybe finds his way into this game if it ends up being a strength battle with Berterame, because the one thing that Iago does have is strength. Now, we know we've seen some suspect performances from him, but somebody has got to really, strengthen up and put that guy in their pocket somehow. Because I think if you eliminate Berterame and you eliminate Messi, you have to hope that they can get something from their wings. And if they don't have Salvetti and Segovia is more of a hybrid midfielder into a winger, they're not as dangerous at that point. And you're really keeping them, where they're at. I'm not worried about DePaul. I think he is what he is, but I'm not too worried about him. I know that might sound crazy.
He's just a wind-up merchant. He just wants to get in your head.
Yeah, so just don't, basically what I would say is just ignore the dude. Tackle him when you need to tackle him and just keep doing your thing. But if you can control Berterame and Messi, I think that's your key right there.
Messi pushing Sebas Mendes right now, saying, why are you too close to me? Straight up. He's like, well, you're too close to me. He just I just read his lips. He's just like, you're too close to me.
Can we bring Sebas in for this game?
I'm watching Messi getting manhandled by a streaker right now, so I think y'all a different point than me.
Oh, okay.
They had a guy on the field. He just man-hugged Messi. His bodyguard clearly not on duty at the moment.
Yeah, unbelievable, bro. Like he's gonna. So whoever, like Dave was saying, Brian Ojeda, he's Paraguayan. They're gonna try to piss him off too, because Paraguay actually has a rivalry with Uruguay and Argentina. So you gotta have your best game, bro. You're Paraguayan, dude. Like, don't forget that. Then Gusky, man, you want a marquee game that you're never gonna forget in your entire life? This is the game, bro. You imagine how important a win would be for the fan base? Like, it would be huge. And then adding into, let's say Ricardo take it to the finish line and gets Griezmann, bro, it'd be like Christmas.
Remember a couple of years ago where we played them this early and we lost 5-0 in their house? Like, I don't think that's gonna happen, but it really made such a downer on the beginning of our season. I know it didn't start well anyway, but if we lose for the first time in our house to Inter Miami, second game of the season, that's just so depressing. So we just can't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't let them win. Put everything on the line. This game is almost like a cup final. Like we have to protect the fortress.
I'll come in Monday if we get run off the field. I'll come in Monday and I'll start throwing legitimate coaching candidates, because I think that's the conversation you need to start having.
Yeah, if we get run out in our own house,
I'm not even joking.
It's true. No, you're right. Yeah.
To plug a little bit of something that I did earlier this week, I talked with John W. from In 90 Minutes. I was on his extra time podcast, and we spent a good probably 30 minutes talking about, like, what does that look like? What does Oscar have to do to potentially, get fired, or what is that, all that kind of stuff. And we brought up a really interesting conversation of, like, if this front office right now has not started doing their due diligence in terms of, identifying other candidates, and if things don't work out, they're failing. Because again, I don't want to say that Oscar is going to fail or things aren't going to work out, but this was a tough start to the season. He knew it as soon as the schedule dropped. So they were very much aware of what this was going to look like. And the risk you run by having a rivalry game so early in the year is that if your rival plays you off the pitch, more people are going to bring out their pitchforks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a rivalry game, and it's heavily scrutinized to everywhere in the world that there's a rivalry game. Like it costs managers, or in other countries it costs managers or their jobs sometimes, if things like are pretty bad. But let's read some more comments, and then we'll dive into the last part of the show, which is kind of talking about this right here. George Almeida, how do you guys feel about the potential buy of Griezmann and how it can benefit the team? It's massive, right? We already talked about it in the beginning of the show, but yeah, it's huge. I think for Orlando City, for the city, for the team. I think
it could potentially be the biggest buy for Orlando City. I know that might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think it could be the biggest buy that Orlando City's made.
Thank you to John Corrion. Hello, everyone. Hello, my friend. Can the league afford to let Miami start 0-2?
I knew Frankie would be in here somewhere. I was waiting for Frankie.
I mean, if Griezmann gets through the line, yes. I think it's going to be great. Griezmann talk. Yeah, we already talked about in the beginning of the show. He's really freaked out. He got dragged to the grass by 3 or 4 people coming out and running on him. But yeah. Oh my God, they almost Independiente almost scored. There's 30 seconds left. Falcone just saved Inter. So according to Sportico, the MLS after the All-Star game is going to allow for clubs to capitalize and could fetch up to $1 million per club to capitalize on putting a sponsor in the back of the jersey. Now, when we put this out, I didn't expect so many negativity, bro. Bro, you guys don't watch football anywhere else? Like, every other team in Europe. Have you seen the Bundesliga, bro? Like, they have Pepe sausages in the back. They have Deutsche Telekom on the back. Like, bro, you.
Or Liga MX, a little closer to home. Liga MX has a ton of adverts on their jerseys.
Yeah, but that's all over. You're talking about just the back, bro.
Right.
Front and back is not a big deal. And so I thought of putting Publix there because obviously Publix represents Central Florida, in my opinion. Don't be swayed that I heard that if this has happened already from sources from down south, that Inter Miami is going to have Messi's drink on the back. The Moss Plus. That's what I heard. So, what do you guys think about this initiative, I guess? Obviously, I put MLS continues to lead the way in jersey commercialization among the U.S. pro leagues because obviously that's what the press release said. So, your thoughts, John? Stoke has a sponsor in the back, I'm sure.
Do we? I don't think so.
Doc Martens?
I don't think it's big in England. I think we're quite traditionalist in England with our sponsors. I'm pretty traditional of even the arm sleeve sponsor I'm not down with. We used to have one. So people say we never had one. That's not true. We used to have one in the USL. Used to have on the back, first ever back of jersey sponsor was Legoland, Florida.
Legoland, USA.
Yeah, true facts. There you go. So it's whatever, dude. I don't like it, but it's just commercialism. It's the way it is, right?
We don't have
and everyone
a
else
one
is gonna
now,
do it.
right?
We don't now.
No.
In the back,
we have Apple TV. So
well, no, I meant the sleeve one, Luis. I don't think we have a sleeve one
currently. Oh, sleeve one? No, we don't.
We have MLS on one sleeve and Apple TV on the other sleeve, I think.
Yeah, but I think you're allowed to sell one of the sleeves, though, I think, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It says it in the Sportico article. I think it talks about the sleeve or whatever it is.
It's money. Every country's different. Some countries it's disgusting how many sponsors they have on a jersey. I can't stand that. This is not NASCAR,
like Liga
right?
MX.
But,
that's a lot.
One on the back. Whatever. It is what it is. I just don't want it to be something so I like our Orlando Health logo because it looks nice and it's normal
and it says Orlando.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a video tomorrow on the NWSL kits that all just got dropped out today.
They're really nice.
And
Pride is number
Washington
one,
Spirit
baby.
dropped one, and they have like literally CVS in pink, and it's brighter than their club badge. Like it looks like it's a CVS jersey. Like it's
What?
so there's stuff like that. Like as long as it's in theme, like and it doesn't stand out too much and it's too ugly,
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. And most of our sponsors seem to do that pretty well.
Now, in Peru, for example, to give you an example, they have the sleeve front and back. They have the right here, the shoulders. They have the back. They have the front. I think that's the only ones I saw. But in Mexico, they go all out. I mean, they go tacos Pepito. They go like enchiladas Gomez. Like they do Corona Modelo. Like they, like you know, it's insane, dude. So, but hey, David was saying if Publix is the sponsor from the back, they should have what, David? You mentioned it on the chat.
Yeah, they should have a pub substation over there. I think that's exactly what they should do.
100%. It says Frankie Cosmos, bet they cover them in ads like NASCAR by 2030. No, I don't think so. It says we need a Disney sponsorship. No, I mean that would be bad if we have like Mickey Mouse like on the back. Like, I don't know. The Donnie Moore, Miami game over Messi. Miami game over and Messi did not get injured in any noticeable way. Got to be in lockdown now. Gonna be a legendary game on Sunday. Yeah, certainly. Yeah. That press box, guys, is gonna be packed.
Good luck, Luis.
Of people that will only come to cover quote unquote Orlando City once, and I will never see them ever in the F again. Ever. One time.
But you know something similar, not to the level, but something similar might happen with Griezmann. There might be more people in the box,
sure,
like French media and stuff like that.
No, we
have to start
one time. When was
working
this?
On your French.
This was when Messi. Yeah, it wasn't. I saw it on Copa America, I believe it was. I think a colleague told me that there was an Argentinian. They led a lot of like unrestricted media, like smaller outlets, and they never cover a game in the U.S. from abroad, and they accredited them in. And there was this lady, this girl, that when Messi came through the tunnel, you're not supposed to stop the players or grab the players. She first comes and grabs him literally and hugs him. And his security wanted to get in the way. He's like, "Oh no, I'm media." So Messi then says, because it's a lady, he's like, okay, just just let her talk. And she's like, "Messi, I'm here for you, Messi. You're the only reason I do this." And she's like crying, dude. She's like, like you're the only reason I'm a journalist. And bro, it was just such a pander, honestly. Hopefully it's not like that. You know,
she's like a real life Messi bot that you find on Twitter.
I know. And then from my understanding is, after talking to some people, that she apparently tried to cover Inter Miami, she didn't get in because of that BS. But I mean, again, you're gonna see people like that on Sunday, I'm sure. Just don't engage in violence, guys. I mean, you're gonna see some stupid people. Just walk away. Like it says, Messi literally got tackled to the ground by fan security who rushed on the field, and tonight in PR. Yeah, PR needs an MLS team. That'd be nice. PR needs an MLS team. Why not, man? See, it's part of the
travel.
Yeah, this way Universal will go hard, says Mikey D. Yeah, Universal will go hard.
Can you have both theme parks as like your big sponsors though? Because they already got that thing with Disney, so.
Yeah, Disney'd have to pony up the cash for the back of jersey. I think that's what it would be. I can see that.
Yeah.
You guys want to do our predictions before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do our predictions.
I've got the spreadsheet. I don't know who it was who was asking for the spreadsheet, but here you go. It's back. 2026 version. I can't remember what y'all. Do you remember what you said for the last
Yeah,
game?
I said 2-2 last week.
Okay, Luis, you remember?
And I said 2-1 Orlando, and I went the other way.
All right, shoot me with your Inter Miami.
Go ahead, Luis. I'll let you go first.
I know for a fact the players are watching tonight. And I know they're going to be ready. I know Duncan will do a backflip. And we're going to see the Pasalic left foot is going to become his weapon again. So I'm going to go for a strong 3-0 Orlando win. Wearing the purple
I'm
jerseys.
stunned.
And Poppy's going to wear white.
Oh, back to his white shirt. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think that's obviously why we lost. Like, what is he doing? Put the white shirt back on.
I mean, listen, the shirt he wore on Saturday was better than that, like, urine colored
I know.
jacket that he wore
Urine.
the
That's
preseason
the yellow
match.
jacket.
Whatever the hell that was. It was awful.
The, he
There you
needs
go,
to get
David.
his white t-shirt on and get back on the cooler, and then that's how we win this game, right? Just sit there in your white shirt. We need those vibes.
Look, Donnie puts a really good comment. It says, if Messi scored a hat trick on us, it would be his 900th goal.
Ugh, please don't let that
Hopefully
happen.
that doesn't happen. Yeah, hopefully, man. Go ahead, David.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna go 2-1 Orlando City.
Oh,
I just don't see us scoring more than 2 goals, but I still think we find a way to win.
let's go. Actual score, but let's not jinx it. Let's not.
I agree. I had 2-1.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's I'm thinking maybe 3-1 because that's how we got it last year, where we
Yeah.
get like a couple goals up and then they're chasing the game, but they get one and then we get that third late on. So maybe 3-1 with a late one
I would
when
love
they're trying to get back into it.
I
but
just didn't
I
see
could
enough
2-1.
attack in
Yeah.
week 1 for me to get
Agreed.
to 3 at that point. I would love
Mhm.
for it to be 3-1. But I think my scorers, if you want to go one step farther, I think my scorers are, I think Martino Hayda starts his account for the 2026 season. I think he gets on. And then I think Thiago gets on in the second half and he ices the game for us with the second goal. And then he starts to challenge Poppy and put me in the starting lineup, Poppy.
Yeah. I can see a Thiago winner being the thing that gets us this.
Oh, see, I think we go
Yeah.
up 2-0, but then I think Miami gets one back. That's kind of how it plays out in my head. But listen, I'll take it the other way too. That's fine.
Look, I guarantee you, if Orlando beats Miami on Sunday, guys, we're never gonna play with an away jersey ever again. I guarantee you that. And second, Poppy's gonna wear that white shirt throughout the whole entire freaking season.
And get out the Brazilian flags.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big question we didn't answer is Messi going to play? And
So far,
I
it
don't
looks
know.
like he is.
I asked
I'm gonna
Danny
say
from
I'm gonna
Battered
say yes.
MLS. He
What did
said
Danny
he was talking about the fact that he's holding his neck and he thinks that's a precursor to.
I just think he's got to
He's
do
out
it at least
again.
once. And I'm on record saying that I think he potentially retires this year if everything goes his way. So I think he plays this year in Orlando.
I was talking to
I hope so. I mean, I just want to boo the man in my own stadium. Is that too much to ask?
Well, more than likely, if Messi retires, he's going to be a part owner with Moss and more than likely with Beckham. I don't see him buying a franchise in Nebraska, in Kentucky, in Texas. I see him just staying in Miami, him and his dad being majority owners of Inter Miami. Mass taking a little bit of a backseat. Beckham probably also being more of a minority owner. And him taking over the helm of Inter Miami already. So much so that I do want to tell you guys, the Argentinian Federation, AFA, is opening a office in Miami already. I don't know why, but they are. And that has a lot to do with Messi. And also, they're doing an event in Orlando. They're doing like this World Cup, like a Messi Fest in Orlando. So it's gonna be interesting. It says I'll be in Hawaii. Says Jamie Whittemore. Man, congratulations, man. That's beautiful. Back seating the Excel sheet. I think
did I
Bob
say
predicted
3-3? Okay.
3-2. I think Bob predicted 2-0. Win
I
for
had
New
it that Bob predicted 2-0. Did I just imagine that?
Yeah,
No.
listen, if I messed up, Frankie, that's my bad. I predicted a draw either way, but I couldn't
Yeah,
remember. What
yeah,
way.
you predicted a draw, David. I remember.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
don't.
you said
remember.
2-2 draw. I think you said that.
Honestly, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I apologize,
remember-
Frankie.
Frankie, you're
remember
making us
David
question
2-2.
everything.
I
Stop
can't
this.
remember. If I
The
did, I'm not doing
spreadsheet
it on
is-
purpose.
is
But we got the
word.
spreadsheet now.
If it's
so
in the spreadsheet, that's it. That's it now.
Yeah, it's
listen,
just-
I believe you guys. I'm sorry, I wasn't doing it on purpose. Try to make myself look better.
David's trying to troll you. He's testing you to see if you're paying attention.
Kenneth Allen says the boys gotta be hungry. I know. Imagine coming up that L and not tuning up 100%. Yeah, the boys need to come hungry and ready to
starving.
This has to be a marquee match for them. A match that they'll put in their resume. Because I also agree. I think Messi is no longer. I mean, did you see his face when he was playing the in this game just now, a friendly game? You know,
Well, they're probably going to say he needs time off after being manhandled by the fan. That'll be the news.
but he's not enjoying soccer, bro.
I don't think he enjoys going to Puerto Rico to play friendlies just for money. No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Says Pasilic is working on his boxing for this game. Says if there's only a way to check, says LOL. You know, I wonder if they're gonna be like Messi's like, oh, we're gonna go to Orlando. I'll skip it. I mean, in a way, let's say Messi skips it, we still have to play with the same intensity. It's a big game, so there's no ifs and buts about. And please don't ask for his jersey in front of the fans, especially if you're brand new. I know that the OGs are not gonna do it, but I know that.
Okay. So real-time correction, because I went back and looked. Frankie is correct. I said 3-3. So Frankie's right. Apologies. Thank you, Frankie, for keeping us beholden. I
cancel
appreciate
the
it.
pod. Stop
remember
everything.
And also, you're welcome for checking in real time, Frankie. I went and scrubbed it as quickly as
I
I
already
could.
updated it to 3-3. I just believe Frankie. So
Touche. That's fair.
I just want Ojeda to have more goals than Messi. That's hopefully it starts this weekend. So Martino Ojeda will ask for it if he scores. My prediction, says Donnie. Yeah, we had over an hour and 30 minutes of talking about the Antoine Griezmann situation right now, which 95% is going, I think, towards Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Ricardo is able to close it soon with a W on Sunday against Inter Miami, hopefully. Again, we wanted to thank you for your support.
Can I drop one more thing, Luis, that
yeah,
I'm
ahead.
willing to sprinkle on our folks that are watching? From what I understand, from a few different sources, Griezmann has been informed of the current coaching situation as well as roster situation. And he's been told that due to his profile within the club, that if anything were to change roster-wise or coaching-wise, he would be consulted a little strong, but he would be informed of what those changes would look like. So basically what I want to put out there is don't be alarmed that if for some reason, let's say we get blown out this weekend, and then let's say we don't do well against NYCFC and the club decides to depart with Oscar, Griezmann is already kind of aware of where the club is thinking of what that could look like if things go south, if that makes sense. So obviously the full expectation is that Oscar is here when Griezmann comes in. Same thing with the roster. The roster is here when Griezmann comes in. But from what I understand from sources, especially from what I've heard on the other side, this is mostly on the Spanish side from some people I've been talking to, Griezmann has been briefed on what the situation could look like if there were a coaching change to be made and things like that. So they're very much keeping him aware of what the situation is, because obviously he's going to be a franchise player, as the Spanish media likes to call him. He's going to be a franchise player, so they're keeping him sort of aware of what that situation is going to look like.
Yeah, you gotta build around a massive star like that. I mean, that happens in every club. You have to build around a massive star, and also if you feel like whoever's at the helm is not going to take that star to the promised land, you had to build around that star. And I think you see with LAFC now, you see with Inter now, you see, now we're not going that route specifically, but certainly getting a name like Griezmann is going to attract more talent that will be able to poach and boost the team, So John C407, I missed it. Any speculation on possible ETA? So it just has to be before March 26th, but just
the club would like him now, but we'll see. That's the short answer.
I don't think Papi makes it through the season and Kenneth Allen. Yeah, it's a possibility if things don't go our way. Anything you want to add, John, before we go?
No, I was gonna say, John C407, you can just go back, just scroll back on the video. We started with a whole conversation about the latest on Antoine Griezmann, so you can get all that there, and then stay while we talk about Inter Miami.
Well, guys, thank you guys for your support as always. We want to have a phenomenal game on Sunday. Hopefully, they're able to close on Griezmann and make him an Orlando City player. And again, we'll see you guys next Monday. And vamos Orlando! Take care, guys. Thanks so much for your support.